Hello my friends, and big thanks to all subscribers and moderators, and also a big welcome to all the new members. So some really great news ahead, and I think it's going to be exciting that you can learn how to win a free reading. So let's start with some kind of like general info. So this is a general reading. So that means I don't want the freak out, hey, it's not catered to special me, it's just me, and not every detail of my life is being covered. Well, I'm sorry, sweetie, but this is a general reading. So how I do it, I kind of like focus on everybody of that sign, and also on their ascendant, also on their moon, and also on all the people who might be actually cross-watching. So plenty of people there, so two people of the same sign are never the same. Nothing really beats private readings, so just keep that in mind. Now, what I do suggest is, like, definitely, as I mentioned, to check your sun sign, check your ascendant, check your moon sign. And if you're cross-watching for somebody else, then also check the same, like sun sign, ascendant, and moon, and also their Mars. That's going to tell you their really attitude toward relationships and how basically this is like resonating at this particular time. Now, I really want to also say something else before I go to that great part that you're like waiting for, that this reading, like if you get a private reading, this is like on a double special. First of all, it's only $50, and second of all, you are still taking advantage of the speed up promotion. So it is about 7 days. I'm not going to guarantee exactly the same 7 days because sometimes I have the monthly readings, but within the 7 to 9 days you get the reading back. If it's a regular reading, you can upgrade it to Russian Urgent, but this is really up to you. So are you excited? Let's get to the fun part. And one on social media. So off you go. So guys, it's very simple. If you're being called to be a winner, you just basically from that nick you send, put your email, and that way we know it is you, and that's all you need to do. In the comments you give your email, and then you're contacted at that email, and that's all that takes. So there you go. So I hope to see you on Saturday on live reading, and not only one Saturday but many Saturdays, and many of you are present. So all you have to do is like, hey, I'm here, hi Kat, I'm in Toronto, I am in Arkansas, I am in Michigan. So all you need to do is just like announce yourself, and you have to be present when this is drawn. So this is kind of like a good start, especially for those of you who never had private reading. It's very therapeutic. I'm not fortune teller, I'm actually kind of guiding you through the process, and that's kind of like really easy for everybody, so nothing to be scared of. What I'm going to do the next is I'm going to explain to you how I came up with this Is Your Ex Coming Back spread. This is only for the people who are actually wanting their exes to come back. So I don't want to hear, I don't want my ex back. Just go to the different reading. It's all cool. If you have seen this, if you are a steady kind of like person here, just jump to the reading, see the timestamps below. It took me forever to find a combination of 7 cards that can actually work out and give me the information. These cards are taken from a different deck. They're called significators, and they're going to be identical to every single reading. They're kind of like telling me the category about what they need to know about this particular relationship between you and the person you're asking about. It is only for the people who are, as I said, looking for somebody and want to know more. The magician is going to tell me the quality of this relationship, if this is really a starter, if you cannot go in a different direction, and if this is going to happen. The temperance reversed is going to tell me what is off, what needs to be glued, what needs to be repaired. Is the situation right? Is the person right? What is wrong? And we are going to realize that. Then we have 2 significators. They are interchangeable, either or. You can kind of like pick one, you will see which one resonates more, and also the energy and the communication in between. The Judgment card is our karma card. It's going to tell me, hey, is this supposed to go on? What is supposed to happen here in between everybody? And what do we really need to expect? That's fine designating. And finally, we can make an educated guess to see where is this heading? Where is this going? But again, guys, I did tell you, private reading is private reading. It's only your energy that is involved. So let's start. Taurus. So let's see what is your situation this month. Let's start. The Sun reversed. It looks like you're going through some kind of like burnout from what I see. Knight of Cups. Maybe you don't even feel lovey-dovey at all. It looks like there's like lots of suffering over here, but when the Death card reverses, it is like saying there's unnecessary suffering. So when this happens when we are kind of like convincing ourselves in a storyline. So you know, like it's that saying, beware what you wish for, because you might get it. But that's pretty much here, like I want something and I want something, being goal-oriented, instead of like realizing maybe the soft kind of like points that need to be resolved. Or sometimes, you know, let's say somebody beats you up, horrible thing, right? But then you're thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking about it. You keep on re-abusing yourself over and over and over again. And so at that point, that's why it would say this is kind of like unnecessary. Or you kind of like have a means of handling that. So you have 7 of Cups, 10 of Wands, 6 of Pentacles reversed, and the Lovers. So we have 2 sixes over here. There is like a definitely soulmate-y kind of a relationship over here that I see. And it's kind of like really interesting because this card here talks about absolute imbalance. And I can see you looks like yourself are completely out of balance. There is like a big question about, you know, in direction, which direction you want to go. You feel that there are different options. You feel maybe, you know, because like how he's exploring all this kind of like things here. But the other person is kind of like feeling that kind of like burden just like got dropped off their shoulders. Maybe there was no give and take. Maybe this relationship was really not projected to kind of like go kind of like that. Riding into the sunset. Maybe there were like lots of things that kind of like started being too heavy over here. Having said all of that, there is like sort of saying the Lovers is showing up over here. It's saying that there is like still possibility of overcoming some issues over here, and if you can kind of like maybe start to see things differently. Maybe you need to take some rest first before you can even feel enthused to kind of go in this direction. And the other person needs to become a little bit more transparent and maybe not take this too much to their heart as it kind of like looks right now in the situation. And karma is saying this give and take is really important in this relationship, as well as love expressions. These 2 things seems to be crucial at this point. So let's see where this takes us. Well, King of Swords reversed and 8 of Swords. So there are like some mental processes over here that I think, that I see. These mental processes, again, feeling you stuck, as I said, like there is like, I can see a repetition of the same situation, of the same story, running it in your head, and possibly making yourself very scared or defensive or sad. And it's possibly thinking about a breakup. There is like really feeling, I can really feel your pain over here, guys. It kind of like really feels, oh my gosh, what do I do? Where do I go from here? There is a need to face the situation, absolutely. And look here, you have the 4 of Wands. This is like again saying it can actually go further. And look, you have the 2 cards. Both of them are with the blindfold. Both of them are talking about not seeing situation clearly and needing to make a decision. So why do you really want to go? You're like an earth sign. You're really strong sign as well. So kind of like to move forward, right? You just don't want to kind of like create anything that can create an earthquake on the end of that road. So why are you going into this unknown with a person who either cut you off or who could be very unjust toward you? You are making this decision and you know it's kind of like really difficult situation. It's going to be a sit down, it looks like, where you're going to propose, yes, I want to go forward, but there is like still that fear and trepidation behind that. Look, on the other side, they're sitting with a 7 of Swords. They're just trying to get from you what they can get. And it could be they had a wandering eye as well. It's kind of like I still need a few more cards in order to kind of like say this. But it does look like, hey, you know, I'm grabbing something. It's a person who does have secrets that you're dealing with. And yet you have another 7. So 7, 7, and 7. This is a very spiritual time for you, where it's falling in this karma segment. And first of all, it told you, look, there was not a proper give and take in this particular union. Without this give and take, it is kind of like really hard to move this whole thing forward, even though it can be done. So I'm going to kind of like give you kind of like that conclusion later. But this again is saying, look, you need to proceed carefully. You need to protect yourself from naysayers. And look, there is like some kind of battle of the wills I see here. Both of you are increasing in energy. So meaning like usually happens when there is argument, right? And it might be you did that to me, you did that to me, and hence there is like this like stalemate over here in this whole kind of like environment. I definitely do see that you want to go forward, but this is also saying that certain kind of like issues you need to kind of like dig in your heels, or this also can be seen that somebody maybe sees you as too stubborn. But 7s are definitely talking about there will be a shift in thinking, and the shift is always for the best one. It's a very, very spiritual number. And this is saying, look, and this is definitely you, for now, kind of like figure out what you're bringing on board, what is like that you would be enjoying on your own. And I think that's really the key over here, because you're going one step forward, one step back, forward, back, forward, back. And kind of like that's a situation where I see you feeling a little bit stuck, right? And with that kind of like small adjustment, like there is like not a big kind of like jump forward. But here it is kind of like saying, look, I really need to stabilize myself. Look at her. This to me is always a card of something long term. And the long term can only happen when we are completely clear and sure about who we are, how we actually can kind of like have this like really good time for yourself, whether this is a bubble bath for you or something where you are not part of all this kind of like thinking and wondering about this direction, or kind of like even repeating in your head some kind of like bad circumstances that happen. It looks like, you know, you feel cheated of something, you feel cheated of, let's say, prize, and you feel trapped in the solutions and options that you have right now. So let's see where this is heading. Look at this, we have 3 people, 4 people. So that can be different aspects of you, but let's see. There is this obsession, it keeps repeating. We go in and out, as I said, step forward, step backward, right? Because look at this. Again, very positive. This person can actually come forward. But here, at this situation, there is like something that is changing. Here, I do see possibly there is another person in the mix. But it could be that 2 people are stepping out and only one person is saying that maybe this person you're inquiring kind of like undermined themselves. Maybe you were into it, you really wanted that nice things and good thing to happen, the little kind of like piece of happiness and a little bit of sunshine just for yourself, right? But maybe somebody's, I would say, almost like brutal action, this kind of like so took you off. Look at all of that stuff. It kind of like something is going to happen that is going to be so turbulent. And you're going to say to the stage, no way, Jose, no way. I'm not standing up for that, especially like this Queen of Pentacles can be a domesticated relationship, sort of like, you know, common law kind of a thing. And it's saying, look, you know what, you might even be accused of being clingy. You might be accused, you know, when people accuse you, oh, you really want me, and like, look, dude, just get off your high horse. You're not that important, kind of a thing. And it's kind of like maybe almost like looks like you just need a justification, that somebody comes and that you tell them off. because look what's happening here. All of a sudden they're feeling here left out in the cold. Maybe you're finding out about somebody, and that's also very, very much possible, and then off you go, right? It's, this card always tells me that there is like a three-party situation, and there is like a one way to get to deal with them, and it's like kind of like to move on. Well, moving on is not going to be as simple as just moving on. It's not, unfortunately, a flick of the switch where we move on and we don't think about it. You'll still be thinking about it, obsessing about it. Do not feel guilt, because you're feeling, again, like you have like the 7 and 8 and 9. But the truth is, like with this card, I think it's like pretty bad card. It kind of like tells you about being stuck where people cannot see the difference between black and white, and everything is kind of like meshing together. So you need to learn, because look at this, one is very bright, one is like very dark. You need to learn how to swing from the darkness to the light, and this theme permeates throughout your reading, right? That's kind of like the Chariot is usually the card about beating your own demons. So if something really, really bothers you, right? If something you really cannot do, so let's say person had an injury and now they have to learn how to walk again. It is very, very difficult, and it's really, really hard. It takes enormous amount of energy. If it didn't take energy, like everybody would do that, right? And this means like getting that gusto, like knowing that I have to do it. I simply don't have any other option, and almost like forcing yourself. And that's what karma is suggesting, and yet that's another 7, 7, 7, and 7. And that seems to be kind of like really permeating in your reading, that this person somehow dominated you either with trickery or with some kind of like secrets, and even though you really, really want it, it's kind of like really hard for you to make this decision. And ultimately, you're going to figure out if this entire situation makes you imbalanced. If this entire situation makes you feel the way you shouldn't feel in a relationship, that you feel sad, that you feel sorry. Whether you're with them or without them, you know, usually when you break up with a person who would be good for you, is like, you will understand that maybe at this time, in this lifetime, you cannot be together. But this is kind of like obsessive, that somebody is crazing you out, almost like that I see. So my dear Taurus, as I said, this is a general reading. To really get yours, it's only your energy, not like thousands of other Tauruses out there. So let me get one more card. If you want a private reading, contact me at cattarot.ca. But let's see what it says. Well, chemistry. There is a chemistry here. And I think sometimes we go wrong in this, because you definitely are very seductive, and they see you, they definitely see you as very pretty and seductive. But I don't really think that you are feeling about yourself that way. And yet there is undeniable chemistry, and that's kind of like problem when you have this chemistry with somebody, like they have their hooks on you, that you kind of like have to kind of like put it on the back burner and try to see all these other elements. Your earth sign, I don't need to tell you this, what is going to be on what kind of land you can build a house, if it's a volcanic land or if it's, you know, earthquakey land. It's not going to really last. So you actually have to figure out that something is solid and strong and doable in order to move forward. Otherwise, what's the point? Better is to kind of go through a little bit of pain and not to move forward. So if you manage to kind of like stay up on the positive, you will start seeing the situation differently. Can you have this person? Yeah, absolutely. It can come back, but you need to ask yourself at what cost. So my dear Taurus, I hope this kind of helped. I would love to see your comments, and even more, I would love to see you on a live reading every Saturday at 11 a.m. where you can actually win one of my 15 minutes free readings. So if you're not a subscriber, just click over here, and that way you're going to be invited. So no matter where you are, you're getting kind of like, hey, we are live, and it's usually for an hour, and you have to be there. So that's all there is, and it's kind of like your energy coming through this reading, so it's like more fun all around the clock. So dear Taurus, until the next time, please drop in your comments. I want to see who are all these people over here. And until the next time, I love you.